With this season opener between the Sky and Fever, reigning Rookie of the Year Caitlin Clark, the favorite to win MVP at plus 220. Early first quarter, Clark crossed over, drilled the pull-up three, final seconds in the second. Clark drills another three just before the buzzer, and the Fever are up 13 at the half. Clark scored a game-high 12 points in the first half alone. Things got a little heated, though, in the third between these two rivals. Clark fighting for the ball, fouls Angel Reese on the floor. Reese obviously not happy there. Has some words for Clark. Foul upgraded to a flagrant one on Clark, and she cannot believe it. Mid-fourth we go. Clark drains the pull-up three, and they go on to win it 93-58. Caitlin Clark, now the first player in WNBA history with 20-point triple-doubles in the season opener. As you take a look at the team comparison, though, it was not just Clark. Indiana was able to excel and put up these numbers after some amazing stat lines up and down the board from Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Natasha Howard as well. And this was the hope, with Indiana bringing in back some new, some old faces as well. Clark joins elite company after her triple-double to open the season. This is her third, by the way, in her career. As you take a look at the players to put up a triple-double in their first 50 career games in WNBA history, Clark sitting there at the top with 3. And then, of course, Sabrina Ionescu with 2. Everyone else, 0. More on this one. Let's go ahead and welcome in our own Tarika Foster-Brasby for more. Tarika, let's just start with your initial takeaways from this one.
New look Fever team. I mean, I think when we talk about what we expected based on the offseason moves, we got that and some. And it's funny because at the end of the game in Caitlin Clark's interview, she said, you know, I know we won by 30 points, but I still feel like there's, you know, more for us to do. I still feel like we can be better, was her exact words. And that's the only thing that's going to happen. This was just game 1 of 44. And over the course of the next 43 games, this team is going to get better. You aren't going to have many games where you'll only get 7 points out of DeWanna Bonner, right? And so it's just exciting to see where this team started and how a year later it has truly evolved.
Let's get deeper into the game because the Fever really took charge at the end of the third quarter, really making the game wide open, 20-point lead entering the fourth. That was actually Indiana's largest lead of the game until that point. Did you notice, though, a momentum shift at all? What contributed so much to the dominance? Was it maybe something Indiana was doing that Chicago wasn't? What did you see there?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest and most obvious difference in this matchup, and specifically as that started to happen, was one, Chicago was just shooting the ball abysmal. I mean, you cannot shoot the ball at 29% from the field and 22% from 3 and expect to win a game. You've got to find some offense, and I think that is something that Tyler Marsh is going to have to challenge this Chicago team, is who can be the person to step up offensively when they're having these type of shooting slumps. I know there was 12 points from Reese overall. Ariel Atkins contributed 11, but the shooting differences in this matchup really is what helped to give the Fever that momentum. Now, we can also talk about how I believe that Aaliyah Boston, 13 rebounds, 19 points. Sis dominated in the paint, and this Fever team took advantage of it. They got 48 points in the paint today. And so, again, the combination of adding a veteran in Natasha Howard, who knows how to dominate in the paint, but then you get to play alongside a young Aaliyah Boston, who's been there, done that. It's her third year now. You can see her IQ continuing to get better. It was so difficult for this Chicago team to contend with that.
I'm glad you mentioned Natasha Howard. I think we could also throw out Kelsey Mitchell as well. They were just getting production from everyone across the board. But of course, the 2 stars of the show, right? Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. It's the rivalry that just keeps on giving. Tarika, these two did have to be separated at one point in the game, receiving offsetting technical fouls in the process. Just your thoughts on that interaction, but also just this rivalry in general and what we'll be able to see for many more years to come.
Yeah, well, I mean, I believe the officials got it right with the call that was made. They did call it an upgraded flagrant foul, which essentially is just unnecessary contact, right? And so that it was what it was. It happens all the time. Players do it. We've seen it last year. We'll see it this year. We'll see it many more times across the rest of the season. So the officials got it right, and then we just move on and continue to play. That passion and that fire is exactly what makes the WNBA exciting, and it's exactly what makes these players must watch. You want to see them be passionate and fiery, and so it just kind of was what it was, and we kept moving on from it. But I do love the fact that, you know, both of these players understand the gravity that comes with them and the gravity that comes along with the teams that they play for. And they understand that they have a mission, and that mission is to win. And when you are on the losing side of that, you have a little extra motivation, a little extra fieriness in you. So completely understood why Angel felt the way she felt. But at the end of the day, the call was made. It was the correct call, and we just move on from it.
We can't wait to see more of it as the season continues, that's for sure. Kind of back to Caitlin Clark here, of course, because it opens the season with a triple-double, 20 points and rebounds, 10 assists, her third triple-double of her career. She entered this season the favorite to win the MVP. If you had to put your money down on it right now, Tarika, is she your favorite to win the MVP award?
Oh, people are going to hate me, but my preseason pick was Napheesa Collier, and she had an incredible game yesterday against Dallas. That does not make me change my pick right at this moment. But to open your sophomore season with a triple-double is something that people should look into and feel excited about. I think that Caitlin Clark is going to be in the MVP conversation just as much as anybody else. I'm still having Napheesa as my #1 option right now, but I think this is a good look. Like, again, this team is only going to continue to gel and get better. And one thing that she has now is more people who she can pass the ball to. We saw last season how Kelsey Mitchell elevated her game, the more comfortable that Caitlin Clark got in the point guard position after the Olympic break. Well, now they've had an entire offseason to work with Stephanie White to get that on a totally different level. So as much as we talk about needing to gel with the new players on the team, what we're seeing is continuity from the relationship that already existed between Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark, and that's going to be very, very fun to watch.
Yeah, that's an important thing to know, and I'm glad you bring it up, because as they get the job done at home in their season opener, you mentioned the familiar face in Caitlin Clark and some of the new faces that they added this offseason. What did you learn, Tarika, after game one, watching this new look Indiana squad? What are we really in store for this season? Is this a team that's a legitimate contender?
I believe this is a team that is a legitimate contender, and I felt that way just based off the moves that they made, but seeing them in action makes me feel really good. I had an opportunity to cover Stephanie White for the last couple of years as the coach of the Connecticut Sun, so I understand her style a bit. I understand that she likes to play fast, and you could see that on the court. The pace was just very different. I also know she is someone who's going to make sure that you defend, and last year a lot of us in the media were very critical about the defensive effort from the Indiana Fever. Today, I saw that defensive effort. They forced Chicago to turn the ball over 19 times, and that's something that's important to note. And so it is incredibly important to understand that there are various dynamics that is going to help elevate this Fever team and to help continue to push them into contendership. I had them in my preseason rankings as the #3 team coming into the season, and I think tonight, or this afternoon rather, really made me feel like I was right? We all love to be right. But the last point, that when we talk about just, you know, having some changes, but yet some things familiar, Stephanie White has a familiar face on the Fever team, and that's in a DeWanna Bonner. And yes, she may have only had 7 points, but those were very critical 7, and 2 of which helped to elevate her to 3rd overall in scoring on the WNBA's all-time list. And this is something that is so important for her. She is one of the players that doesn't get talked about enough, but has been so incredible, to watch over the course of her tenure. She knows that she's got more years behind her than in front of her. So I'm going to be very interested to see how she's utilized this season and what accolades she can continue to accrue as this season moves on. It's going to be a really exciting season to watch. By the way, the Fever with the 4th best odds right now to win the title at +420. So we'll see how it all plays out. Tarika Foster-Brasby joining us here for our post-game coverage as the Indiana Fever, behind a Caitlin Clark, a triple-double, get a statement win today.
against Chicago in the sky. Here's a look, though, at all the contributions that Indiana actually got from their starting five. I mean, you saw something from everyone. Aaliyah Boston, as we talked about, Natasha Howard, Kelsey Mitchell there. I mean, 4 of their starting 5 in double digits as the Indiana Fever get a big season opening win.